Welcome back to Growth Catalyst Hub. In our channel, we look at three things: productivity, your skills, and how to turbocharge your career. In today's episode, we are going to look at how do you negotiate your salary. You might have felt that you left money on the table many times. I have felt like that many times in my career. But how do you avoid that? What are the key questions that you need to ask when you are negotiating your salary? But even before that, what are the things that you should be prepared for so that you can ask those right questions? Whether you are living in Bangalore or Mumbai or London or New York, doesn't really matter. The 18-step framework that I'm going to share now is going to be very good equally for anywhere that you are living in this world. Because these are absolutely important steps which the best of the salary negotiators have used in their career to go and skyrocket the money and the compensation that they get out of what they do for their company. So here we go. Let's look at this 18-step ultimate framework for salary negotiations. Getting into what I call as phase number three, where I want you to think a little larger and expand your thinking. You should look at not just what you're getting on hand. You should not just get and look at what the components of your salary is. That is one side of the equation. The other side of the equation is if these are the components that are going to come to you, this is the money that you're going to make, how much you will be asked to spend in the place that you're going to live. You may be living in New York, you may be living in Bangalore, you may be living in Chennai, wherever you are. What is the cost of living in that city? A typical cost of living in that city. Do you know that various surveys say that Chennai is about 10 to 12% cheaper than Bangalore? So if you choose to live in Chennai, there is a cost of living in terms of what your exposure is, what your kids' exposure is, what kind of school they go to. But with all that, Chennai is going to be 10 to 12% cheaper than Bangalore. And therefore, you can afford to take a slightly lower salary for living in Chennai compared to Bangalore. But if you are moving to Bangalore, the reverse applies. You need to have a 10 to 12% higher salary just to offset the cost of living which is going to be there in Bangalore. You need to know things like this. There are sites which can help you, Numbeo and Expatistan sites are there, which I have given a note in this video. You will be able to see a note which you can download, which you can look at, which you can apply. All of that would help you. But the point is very simple. You should not only look at the component that you are making as a salary, you should also look at where you are going to live, where the company is going to put you in, which city. Is it a small city? Is it a big city? Is it a global city? And therefore, what is it going to be the cost of living in that city? And there are enough sites which can help you benchmark this. So go understand all about that. From which city to which city are you going to move if you are going to take up this offer? And what is the cost of living, typical cost of living in that city compared to where you are? And hence, what is the minimum that you need to ask just to offset the increased cost of living over and above what you are currently experiencing? And therefore, that is a minimum to go, and you are not going to make more money. That is a minimum cost of offset of that living standards. And then over and above that, you should be asking for your cost that you need to. So that is the point that I'm making. So go figure that out as the next step. Step 14, again, expanding your edges, expanding your lay of land, expanding and understanding even better. Suppose the company is saying, we will be vesting ESOPs on you. If you continue to work, if you are with us, if we will be offering this salary, but if you are with us for the next 3 years, ESOPs start getting vested on you. Then it's time to figure out and understand about ESOPs, right? So you need to know what is the strike price. You need to know when they will start getting applicable, when you can start looking at and making them, converting them into real money from the paper money that they are. So you need to do a lot of research. If ESOPs are a part of your compensation, and while ESOPs are the point in discussion in this particular point, it is applicable for any part of compensation. If they are giving you a particular level of insurance, you need to know what is covered, what is pre-illness is covered or not, or how the entire insurance will be operated, what is the level, can you add more, how many people that does it cover, is it covering only you, your spouse, your kids, or does it cover in-laws also, does it cover father and mother? Are you expected to pay more for more coverage? You need to understand a lot more in terms of every single component which is there as part of your salary package. It's your right to know. It's you need to understand. That understanding will also give you an edge in terms of, okay, they may not be paying salary, but this is a very good component which offsets for a lot of the salary components, and then it looks like a good deal. You may arrive at that, but for you to arrive at that, you need to know completely about every single component which is going to be there in the salary package. Next step is all about handling objections and handling objections in a very objective, calm manner. That is going to be very, very important because there will be objection. People are going to tell you that there is no budget. This is the budget I'm operating with. You need to know how to handle that. People are going to tell you that this is a position, this is a role, this is what we have been giving, and you are already at the top of the band. You should be able to handle that. You should be able to listen to the people, listen to whatever objection they are talking about, and calmly say exactly what you need and why you need that. If you're changing from one center to another center, one place to another place, Bangalore to Bombay, Bombay to New York, whatever that is, you need to be able to calmly talk about the cost of living shift which is happening and the cost of living shift in terms of the children's education, rent, everything combined. And therefore, just for the cost of change of place, this is the cost. And plus, for you to ensure that you are going to focus on the job absolutely clearly, knowing that the company is taken care of is the cost. So you should be able to talk to them about why you are asking for the rise that you are asking so that it is a calm, clear negotiation rather than emotional negotiation. One of the ways that you can become better in handling these objections is having real conversations with real people where you act as you are and you ask your friends to act as the negotiating team from the HR team from the other side. So some of the times you may want them to put a lot of objections and see how you are able to handle them. Are you able to handle them properly? Are you getting emotional even in the mock interview? That will tell you where you need to practice, how you need to practice. But do that practice, it will help you very, very well. The next step is something that I tell my community, my team, my students every time. Treat all of this as learning outcomes. You are negotiating salary, you are talking to the people, whether you are talking to your own boss in your own company, current company, your own HR team in the current company, or you are negotiating your salary with the new outside company. A lot of times the temptation is to do this once you have done this, once you've moved on, forget about it. And that is where the problems come. Please don't forget. Please take a journal. Please make a note of what all happened, what kind of a salary, what kind of components was put on plate, how did you negotiate, what was your pushback, how all the negotiation phases went, what are the phases, how all did you feel, and finally, did you think that the negotiation was in your favor, or you caved in and gave it to them? Please make note of this because this is definitely not the last time that you are going to negotiate your salary. This is one of those times that you will be negotiating your salary, and therefore all of these learnings captured very well will serve very handy. So make a note. What were the components? What was your research? What were you given? And what was your pushback? And how did it all go? Did you get finally whatever you thought you should be getting? Make a note of it, go through it, and definitely some of these notes will come in very, very handy when you are 5 years down the line, 6 years down the line, when you are negotiating either outside or even better, inside your own company in terms of next steps on your salary. The last step, 18th step that I would talk about, especially if you are very happy with what you are doing in the company, your performance is good, you are learning well, and you are also earning well. But we are thinking about the next increment which is coming up, let's say in 3 months, 6 months, and you want to be prepared for that. You want to ask for a rise and ask for it in a right manner. So it is important to prepare and prep your boss also in this whole equation. And if you think that your boss has to get the approval of four other people, you need to also align those four other people, as many people as possible, who are going to directly influence how much of a compensation you are going to get. So how do you prep that? So you are going to have whenever that one-on-ones happen. And if you don't have a visibility, push for a one-on-one where you talk about what you're doing, where you talk about how you're doing it, where you agree in terms of milestones to be hit, where you bring out the topic of next level compensation also, and ask the boss directly saying that I'm looking at 15% compensation when we hit the next level. What are the things that I should demonstrate in the next 3 months, 4 months, so that I become eligible for that 15% compensation? A 7%, 8% may be the average compensation which is going around for this role. I understand that, but I want to beat that. I want to be well ahead of the pack. You tell me what are the milestones and I should demonstrate so that I become eligible for that double the level of compensation. So some discussions like this, a prep like this, makes your boss understand how ambitious you are, makes your boss understand that you are willing to go that extra mile to realize that ambition, and it also pushes you to go that extra mile to prove yourself. And that is going to be a very, very good position to be in, irrespective of which company you are in. We talked about 18 different steps, starting from prepping up, going to understanding the law of the land and negotiating, and also expanding your edges so that you are able to understand, appreciate about every single component, and also about standard of living, cost of living in whichever city that you are going to seek that employment. All of these steps are going to be very, very important. But one last thing that you need to remember is that negotiation is not confrontation. It is collaboration, aligning your impact, your effort with the compensation that is going to be offered for that effort. And remember that, always remember that nothing wrong in asking for more as long as you are having the facts and figures on the table, as long as you are asking for that range in which your peers are getting paid, either in your company or similar companies across the country that you are working in or even across the globe. And when you have the data, it also inspires you to work better. It also inspires you to demand the right manner, putting facts and figures on the table so that you are rewarded in the right and equitable manner. Wishing you all the very best. We will see you in our next episode.